Good afternoon, children. I'd like to welcome you to this grammar class. In today's grammar class, I'm going to teach you most important topic, that is pronouns. You might have learned noun in your lower classes. And in today's class, you are going to study in detail about the pronouns and kinds of pronouns. I hope, children, all of you know well what's noun. Noun is a naming word. We use nouns in our sentences, we use nouns in our speech. So, we used nouns in our conversation, in our daily conversations. So, sometimes it may happen, when you say something or when you express something, you repeatedly use a particular noun in many places. How can we avoid such a repetition? So, to avoid such a repetition, we have some special nouns which are used in English. Such nouns which are used in the place of another noun is called a pronoun. So pronouns are words that are used for nouns. Pro means for. So they are nouns used for another nouns. Therefore they are called pronouns. You should know one thing very clearly, children. We use these pronouns to avoid the repetition of a particular noun, a proper noun, in many places. So, for example, I will explain this concept with a simple example. Rama is a boy. Rama is a clever boy. So instead of using that word, proper noun, Rama, in many places, when you introduce that noun for the first time, you can use the word Rama. Second time, instead of Rama, you can use he. It stands for Rama. This he is used for a proper noun, Rama. Therefore, it is called a pronoun, for. So pronouns are special nouns which are used for nouns. So, nouns used for another noun is called pronouns. These pronouns are called personal pronouns. Do you know the reason for that? Because these pronouns are used for name of persons and things. They are used in the place of name of people and things. Therefore, they are called personal pronouns. These personal pronouns may be subject. Sometimes these personal pronouns may be object. So, subject pronoun and object pronouns. I will explain it, children. Listen to me very carefully. I will write all the pronouns one by one. Pronouns. I, we, you, he, she, it and they. They are called pronouns. They are called personal pronouns. They are used for name of persons and places. Therefore, they are called pronouns. See, these pronouns stand for persons. These pronouns stand for persons. First person, one who speaks. First person, one who speaks. First person, I and we. I singular, we plural. So, pronouns stand for persons. First person, second person and third persons. We have three persons in grammar. So, first person refers to the one who speaks. First person may be singular or the first person may be plural. First person singular, I. First person plural, we. Second person, person. Actually, Second person, the person spoken to. The person spoken to. Second person. One who receives. If you speak to someone who is the receiver, then he is called the second. Then the person who receives, the person spoken to is called the second person. Second person singular, you. Second person plural, also you. So second person refers to the person spoken to. And then third person. Get it right? Third person. Who is third person? The person spoken of. Person spoken of is called the third person. So third person singular, he, she, it. Third person singular. Third person plural, they. So now, dear children, I hope you could follow me. Pronouns are special nouns used for another nouns. We call them as personal pronouns because they stand for persons. There are three persons in English: first person, second person, and third person. First person refers to the one who speaks. First person singular, I. First person plural, we. Then second person. Second person, the person who is spoken to. So second person singular, you. Second person plural, also you. That's the reason that after you we have to use always plural verb. Plural form of the verb should be used after the second person, you. And then third person, who is spoken of, who is spoken about. So third person singular, he, she, it. Third person plural, they. Could you follow me, children? Okay. Now, one more thing you have to learn. So I will give it in the form of a table. Then you could easily understand. See, this is the table column which helps you to understand the persons clearly. Persons, okay, this is singular, okay, this is plural. Okay, children? Right. Person, first person. Singular, I. Plural, we. Okay? Right. Then second person. Singular, you. Plural, also you. Okay? Right. Then third person. Singular, he, she, and it. Third person, plural, they. So they are called persons. First person, the person who speaks. Second person, the person spoken to. Third person, the person spoken of. Okay, fine. Then all these pronouns are called personal pronouns. And again, one more thing you have to learn. These pronouns may be subject pronouns or object pronouns. What's the difference? Sir, you say that subject pronoun, object pronoun. You may have doubts in your mind. What is the difference between subject pronoun and object pronoun? Let me explain. See, subject pronoun and object pronoun. Now I am going to explain with the simple examples. Then everyone can easily understand, children. Get ready. Subject pronouns. I, we, you, he, she, it, and they. They are called subject pronouns because they stand for the person who does the action. They stands for the subject of a verb. One who does the action in a sentence, that's called the subject, the doer of the action. All these pronouns stands for the doer of the action. That is, all these pronouns stand for the subject. Therefore, they are called the subject pronouns. Could you follow me, children? Okay. Then, object pronouns. Object pronouns. If the pronouns stands for the receiver of the action, subject is the doer of the action, object is the receiver of the action. You should know the difference. That is very important, children. Here I will write, just to make a note of it. Who is subject? Subject is the doer of the action. Subject is the doer of the action. Okay. Who is the object then? Object is the receiver of the action. Subject is the doer of the action. Object is the receiver of the action. If the pronoun stands for the doer of the action, then they are called the subject pronouns. Okay, right. If the pronouns stands for the receiver of the action, then they are called a object pronoun. I will enlist all the object pronoun. I, object, me. Okay, right. We, object, as. Okay. You, object, you. Okay, children. He, object, him. She, object, her. It, it. Then, they, them. Now, see, listen to me very carefully. I, we, you, he, she, it and they. They are called as subject pronouns because they stands for the doer of the action. They are used as a subject of a sentence. Therefore, they are called as subject pronouns. And there are some pronouns which stands for the object. That is the receiver of the action. Therefore, they are called object pronouns. For I, me. For we, us. For you, you. For he, him. For she, her. For it. For they, them. Okay. Now I hope you understand clearly the difference between subject pronoun and object pronoun. Okay. I will give you a simple example. Then you can easily understand. See. They liked her very much. See this example. They liked her very much. In the example, they, subject. Subject pronoun. Okay. Liked verb. They liked whom? Her. She is the receiver of the action. She receives the action. What action she has received? The act of liking. So it's the object, the receiver of the action. This is called a object pronoun. Could you understand, children? So they liked her very much. Here they subject because doer of the action, her is the receiver object. So that stands for the receiver, therefore that's called object pronoun. It stands for the doer of the action, that's subject, therefore that is called a subject pronoun. Okay, clear? Right. Now I will give you one or two sentences and you note it down and try to find which pronouns are subject pronouns there, which pronouns are object pronouns there in the sentence. Can you do it, children? Okay. Make a note of it. Now, find out subject and object pronouns. Find out subject and object pronouns. Okay, right. I called him. Okay. 2. He met his He invited all her friends she invited all her friends for the party. My mother appreciated me. My mother appreciated me. Okay, children. Here I have given you 4 sentences. You just try to find out in these sentences the subject pronouns and the object pronoun. What are subject pronouns and what are object pronouns? See, I will read out. Let me read out these sentences once again. I called him, full stop. He met his class teacher, full stop. He invited all her friends for the party, full stop. And then my mother appreciated me, full stop. Here I would like to say one thing, children. An object, that is subject object or subject pronoun or object pronoun, need not be a single word. Sometimes it may be a group of words. Okay, so you have to understand that. Okay, fine. Next I am going to teach you the kinds of pronouns. So we have many kinds. I will teach you one by one with good examples. Okay, nice. Be with me, children. Now I will explain the different kinds of pronoun. Kinds of pronouns. Kinds of pronouns. Okay. First, possessive pronoun. Second, distributive pronoun. Possessive pronoun, distributive pronoun. Third, demonstrative pronoun. Demonstrative pronoun. And then fourth, emphatic pronoun. Emphatic pronoun. Fifth, reflexive pronoun. Reflexive pronoun. Interrogative pronoun. Interrogative pronoun. And then indefinite pronoun. Indefinite pronoun. And then one more pronoun, relative pronoun. Relative pronoun. So these are all kinds of pronouns: possessive pronoun, distributive pronoun, demonstrative pronoun, emphatic pronoun, reflexive pronoun, interrogative pronoun, indefinite pronoun, and a relative pronoun. Okay, so I will explain each and every type or kinds of pronoun with good examples. Okay, children, so don't worry, you just read it out yourself and understand. Possessive, distributive, demonstrative, emphatic, reflexive, and then interrogative, indefinite, and then relative pronoun. Now I will explain what's possessive pronoun, what are its forms. Possessive pronoun. They are called so because they refer to possession of something. Who has owned something, who are in possession of something, it refers to, so they are called possessive pronouns because they refer to a pronoun that shows possession or ownership. A pronoun that shows a pronoun that shows possession or a pronoun that shows possession or ownership. A pronoun that shows possession or ownership is called possessive pronoun, and this possessive pronoun acts as a noun. Possessive pronoun acts as a noun. This possessive pronoun comes at the end of a sentence. Now, I. The possessive pronoun is mine. Okay. We. Possessive pronoun is, do you know that, children? For I, possessive pronoun is mine. We, ours. You, yours. He, his. She, hers. It, its. They, theirs. Okay. See, I, mine. We, ours. You, yours. He, his. She, hers. It, its. They, theirs. So they are called a possessive pronoun. You don't confuse these possessive pronoun with the possessive adjectives. Okay. I, me, my, mine. We, us, our, ours. You, your, yours. He, him, his and his. She, her, hers. It, its. They, them, their, theirs. So now, these pronouns are called possessive pronouns because they refer to or they show the possession or ownership. Therefore, they are called possessive pronoun. It defines who owns a particular person or a particular object. Therefore, they are called possessive pronoun. Now, I will give you all these pronouns in the form of a table. Altogether, kindly, it will help you to understand the subject form of pronoun, the object form of a pronoun, and then possessive adjectives and possessive pronoun. Okay, children, let me give you the tabular column. Okay, now listen. Forms of pronouns. Okay. So, I, we, you, he, she, it, and they. Okay, they are the subject pronouns. Next, object, I, me. Okay, we, us, you, you, he, him, she, her, it, they, them. Okay. Then possessive adjectives. My. This is possessive adjective. We, as, our. You, your. He, him, his. She, her. It, its. They, them, their. So they are called possessive adjectives. And then possessive pronouns. My, mine. Our, ours. Your, yours. His, her, hers. Its, theirs. Okay, children. Now I have given the forms of pronouns: subject form, object form, possessive adjective form, and possessive pronoun form. When you learn this table, you have to learn in this way: I, me, my, mine. We, as, our, ours. You, your, yours. He, him, his. She, her, hers. It, its. They, them, theirs. Okay. So, if you learn in this way, you could easily understand. Any doubt, children? I hope you don't have any doubts in your mind. Now, you have a clear vision of these forms of pronouns in your mind. So far now, you have learned subject form of the pronouns, object form of the pronouns, and then possessive pronouns. Okay, children? Okay, next. Let me explain the remaining types. Second, emphatic pronouns. Emphatic pronoun. In this emphatic pronoun, what are emphatic pronouns? The reflexive pronouns can also be used to emphasize a noun or pronoun, or the pronouns that are used to emphasize, are called emphatic pronouns. These pronouns are used with a noun or pronoun for emphasis. Pronouns used, listen to me very carefully. Pronouns used to emphasize. Pronouns used to emphasize a noun or pronoun. To emphasize a noun or pronoun is called emphatic pronoun. Pronouns used to emphasize a noun or pronoun. Why we use this to emphasize? Because some actions should be emphasized, and when you are going to emphasize, this is done by a particular person. This is done by a particular person. So where you want to emphasize the doer of the action, there you can use these emphatic pronouns. Okay. So there you can use these emphatic pronouns. And these emphatic pronouns are used with a noun or pronoun to emphasize. Second point, they are used with a noun. They are used with a noun or pronoun to emphasize. They are used with a noun or pronoun for emphasis. Therefore, they are called emphasizing or emphatic pronouns. What are the forms of this emphatic pronoun? I, myself. We, ourselves. You, yourself and yourselves. He, himself. She, herself. It, itself. They, themselves. Okay. So these are all the forms of emphatic pronouns. I, myself. We, ourselves. You, yourself and yourselves. He, himself. She, herself. It, itself. They, themselves. I will give you some examples to understand this concept. I, myself, did it. Here, this myself used with this subject pronoun I to emphasize who did it. I myself did it. I myself did it. So it here emphasizes. So the chief minister himself gave the award. She herself draws the picture. He himself decided to go there. He himself decided it. See the example. I myself did it. Here this myself comes along with the subject pronoun I for emphasizing. I myself, without anyone's help, I did it. So here you want to emphasize the action done by the subject. That's the reason that they are called emphasizing pronoun or emphatic pronoun. The chief minister himself gave the award. He didn't keep anyone with him for to help him. So he himself gave the award. That's the reason. That's the thing. So just to emphasize that, this himself is used with the chief minister. And then she herself draws a picture. She doesn't keep anyone with her, or she doesn't get any help from anyone to draw the picture. She herself draws the picture. Who has decided it? He himself decided it. Without consulting anyone, without getting help from anyone, he himself decided it. So in all these examples, you can find myself, himself, and then herself. It ate itself. They themselves painted the wall. Okay, you can give many examples. So in all these examples, you can find myself, ourselves, yourself, yourselves, himself, herself, itself, and themselves. They are used for emphasizing, to emphasize the action done by the subject alone. Therefore, they are called emphatic pronouns. Okay, children? Could you find any difficulties in understanding this? I hope so. Nothing. You can easily follow me. So, with the help of these examples, you can easily understand. Okay, children? Next, I will explain one more kind of a pronoun that's called a reflexive pronoun. The same form they have, but the usage is different. Both the emphatic and reflexive pronoun have the same form, but the use of emphatic pronoun is different from use of reflexive pronoun. Don't get confused with that. I will explain clearly, children. Reflexive pronouns. Actually, they are used to refer back to the subject of a sentence. It reflects upon the subject. When the object of the sentence is a subject of the sentence. See, these reflexive pronouns, actually these reflexive pronouns reflect upon the subject. Reflect upon the subject. These reflexive pronouns reflects upon the subject. When the object of the sentence is the same as the subject, then that pronoun is called a reflexive pronoun. When the subject and the object are the same. So when the subject and object are the same, then they are called a reflexive. Reflexive means reflect. It just reflects upon the subject. I'll give you some examples for this also. Reflection. I was myself. See, I was myself. Full stop. You express yourself nicely. You express yourself nicely. And then he locked himself. He locked himself. See, in all these examples, I wash. You wash what? Myself. This is an object. This object reflects upon the subject. Therefore, this is called reflexive pronoun. You express what? Yourself. So, this yourself is an object. This object bounds upon, reflects upon the subject. Both the object as well as the subject are the same, one and the same. Therefore, these pronouns we use to reflect upon the subject. Therefore, they are called reflexive pronouns. He locked himself. He locked what? He locked whom? Himself. This is the object. So, it reflects upon the subject. Therefore, they are called reflexive pronouns. But you should know the position. Reflexive pronoun is different from emphatic pronoun. See, he locked himself. He himself locked it. You should understand the difference. He locked himself. Here he locked whom? He himself locked. But here he himself locked, but not him, somebody else. That's different. So here himself reflect upon the subject, therefore it is reflexive pronoun. But here it emphasizes he did it. He himself locked. He cut himself. See, he cut himself. And then he himself cut. You should know the difference. Here himself reflects upon the subject he, but here it emphasizes he is the one who cut it, no one else, without getting anyone's help. Okay, so you should know the difference between reflexive pronoun and the emphatic pronoun, and you should know the position of the reflexive and the emphatic. Okay, so far now in today's class you have learned what is pronoun. Pronouns are the special nouns used for another nouns, and you know that they are called personal pronouns because they are used for persons, name of persons. They are used for name of persons and things. Therefore, they are called personal pronouns. And personal pronouns, there are three persons: first person, second person, and third person. The person who speaks, the person who is spoken to, and the person who is spoken of. First person singular I, first person plural we. Second person singular you, second person plural you also. Third person singular he, she, it, third person plural they. They are called personal pronouns. First person, second person, third person. Then these pronouns are used as a subject pronouns as well as object pronouns. When these pronouns are used as a doer of the action, they are called subject pronouns. When these pronouns are used as an object of a sentence, that is a receiver of the action, they are called object pronouns. So subject pronouns are different from object pronouns. So subject pronoun I, me, we, us, you, he, him, she, her, it, they, them. They are called object pronouns. And then I taught you one more kind, that's possessive pronoun. They refer to possession or the ownership. Therefore, they are called possessive pronouns. And the forms of possessive pronouns also I taught you. Mine, I, we, ours, you, yours, and then he, his, she, hers, it, its, they, theirs. And then in the meanwhile, I taught you possessive adjectives also. While I am teaching you possessive pronouns, I taught you possessive adjectives also. You should know the difference. Possessive adjectives are different from possessive pronouns. Don't get confused these two concepts. I, me, my, mine. We, us, our, us. You, your, yours. He, him, his. She, her, hers. It, its. They, them, theirs. So I gave you various forms of pronouns in the form of a table. You just learn the table and make a note of it in your classwork, and then every day you just have a glance, every day just go through it, then you can keep it in your mind. You should try to frame sentences of your own by using. Try to frame. Maybe you can take it as a homework. See, for example, children, I frame one sentence. I am an Indian. I am an Indian. So here I. Then what's the subject form? Me. He gave me sweets. So object form. What's the possession? He is my friend. So my is a possessive adjective. It is mine. The pen is mine, the table is mine. See, I, then me, my and mine. In this way, you have to frame sentences of your own using various forms of personal pronouns. Okay, children, I hope you can do it. Easily you can do it. You can pick up sentences from your day-to-day life. Okay. So what are all the things you are doing, where you are going, whom you are meeting every day, and keep all these persons, remember all these persons, and then with the help of these things you can frame easily the sentences. Okay, right. And I taught you two more kinds, that's reflexive pronoun and the emphatic pronoun. Reflexive pronouns, they just reflect upon the subject. Here in the reflexive pronoun, both the subject and object are the one and the same in the sentence. Therefore, they are called the reflexive pronouns. But in the emphatic pronoun, they are used to emphasize the doer of the action, who did it. Okay. So, they are called emphatic pronoun or emphasizing pronouns. So, reflexive and emphasizing both have the same form, but they have different functions. I have differentiated. I washed myself. You express yourself. He locked himself. See, he locked himself. Reflexive. He himself locked it. Emphatic. He cut himself. Reflexive. He himself cut emphatic. So you should know the difference. Okay, children. So I will teach you the other kinds of pronouns in tomorrow's class. So before that, kindly read out all these things which you have learnt in today's class. It will help you to understand this concept, and it will help you to understand the things what I am going to teach you tomorrow. Okay, children, have a nice day. Thank you.